Welcome to the second round coverage of the Central Virginia Open. I'm here with round one leader, or the leader after the first round, Jake Clem. So, Jake, what went right out there? What are your takeaways from the first round?
I guess staying aggressive, making a couple putts. Had a couple of putts downhill, but decided to go for them, and it paid off that time. For the most part, sticking to the game plan, not throwing a single backhand.
Yeah.
That worked this time. The last time we played a tournament there, I just chucked one in the water. So, yeah, just playing a hole shot by shot.
All right. Is there any specific strategy you have holding a one-stroke lead going into the second round?
Just pretend like it's another round with friends. Honestly, I just like to come out and play and enjoy it, and it's a nice day. So just go out and play like it's a normal one and tie ball game, in my opinion, you know.
So not going to be too much considering the other scores, just kind of trying to play against the course?
I usually don't check the scores during the round. I find it just brings in extra thoughts that take up some of my headspace and also probably make me nervous. So I just play until the end, and if I need to make a decision towards the later part, I'll check it out. But yeah.
All right. Well, thanks for the interview, and good luck out there.
All right, everyone. Welcome to the coverage of the Central Virginia Open. It's a beautiful day out here, Falling Creek Park. Going to be a lot of good golf. So we're starting off here. Taylor Brooks coming into the round, very forehand dominant player, sponsored by Cast Class. We have Charlie Behrhorst on the card, Westside Disc sponsored player. This guy rips. We have Andrew Lamont, Charlottesville, Virginia. He's kind of got some sneaky distance to him. And then your current leader at 4 under par, Jake Clem, also very forehand dominant, as you probably heard in that interview.
Yep, Jake Clem will be first off the tee here on hole 1.
Got about 300 feet dead straight ahead of him between those two trees down there.
Clem going forehand, just trying to throw a flex. Looks like this one's stalling out a little bit early. Catches the tree, which is pretty friendly, leaving him with a bid from distance. Next we have Lamont here, taking it wide, more of a traditional route. Getting that swing in, trying to get under the trees. Unfortunately, catches it as well.
That's a very common miss on this hole. That tree will kind of be a catch-all for a lot of shots that are just a little bit off.
Brooks getting it a little bit low out of his hand. He's going to be well short.
And as you can probably tell in that catch cam shot, the wind is really starting to pick up this mid-afternoon.
Definitely a factor.
Yeah, it's going to play into this on such an open course.
Charlie a little bit early on this one. Sneaks past the first tree and pinned behind the second, so his look will be very minimal from there. Simple little pitch up for Taylor Brooks. That's a very good shot in his arsenal, that little forehand up. Clem can't really navigate the low ceiling there.
Yeah, it looks like he just decided to lay up. Probably a smart move. A lot of times under these two trees, you do not really have a good putt. The limbs have been cut up in recent years, but they still hang down in your vision a little bit, especially as you can see with Charles over here. He's not going to have a good run at it. But actually he still tried to.
Decent spin there, but it looks like it's going to be pars for everybody on the first.
And as we were about to move over to hole 2, we're really going to be able to see the power from some of these players open up on this quite a bit longer par 4. It'll really give the players time to let one rip with not too much worry of OB off the tee. As you can see, 680-foot par 4. There is some OB, probably about 500 feet out there is where it starts on the right side. So like I said, not a big concern off the drive, but definitely something to take in consideration on the upshot.
Yeah, it takes 2 big rips to get to this hole and have a shot at birdie. Clem going back to the forehand, that's going to be a pattern you're going to see a lot during this round. That's definitely his strength and his comfortable shot. Likes to throw that big flex forehand. Gets over on this one quite a bit. As long as you miss the tree, which he did, there's plenty of room over there on the left. It's very safe over there.
That's actually hole 3's fairway.
Yeah,
is where he ended up.
The angle into the pin is actually better over there too, so it's not a big deal to miss to that side. Lamont will be going with the more traditional, try to throw kind of a hyzer flip backhand for distance. Unfortunately, let's go this one a bit low as well, and he will definitely have a lot of feet to make up for.
If you don't get a good drive on this hole, you're just realistically, if you can't throw 450 plus, you're very happy with a par,
right?
Because it says 680. You have an uphill tee shot, and you're trying to land kind of where Taylor is. That's a very good shot.
Anywhere past that tree there is not bad.
And then from there, you have another uphill shot.
Right.
And this, on the other hand,
Charlie Behrhorst was an absolute smash here. He gets the full turn out of that. I mean, that's absolutely crushed. If you get to that red basket, that's over 400 feet and a little bit uphill. That's a crush. So Andrew will have to make up for his first shot here. Seems to throw a nice little flip up the flat. And that puts him in, he's a little bit short and left there, but he should have a decent look from there. Taylor Brooks going with the forehand, puts a good move on it, but that's going to leave him a little short, but in perfect position to get up and down for his par.
Yeah, the OB, you saw those trees in the middle of in the screen there on that last shot. That's kind of where the OB starts to come into play. You have to get pretty far up right of the hill, so a lot of these players are just not even trying to challenge it too much and just playing very safe.
Jake was a bit pinched there, kind of had to throw low and lay up. Charlie was really the only player in good position. His shot did stall out a little bit on him, didn't quite turn it over much.
That is going to be an outside look for the birdie there for Charlie.
Yeah. This hole is a very good birdie. It's going to pick up a stroke on most players in the field. Andrew had quite a bit left to get up and down for par and really stalled it, threw it a little nose up, and now is staring down up and down for bogey.
Yeah, this hole on the day was averaging .68 over par, which for a wide open par 4 just speaks to how uphill and hard it's typically playing. Because, like I said, the OB doesn't really come into play. So that's just straight up players struggling to get to the hole. As you see, Andrew, he's laying that up he'll have that left, I think, for his 5, I do believe. Charlie, on the other hand, look for a 3.
Yeah, he has the sole birdie look of the group.
Bang, nailed it.
Yep.
Great putt from Charlie. Good. We got a little replay of it. Great height, good commitment. Little high right.
Yeah,
that was
high
actually,
right. Good catch.
Yeah, it was a good catch. I thought it was a dead center hit when I was there that day.
Jake, after his upshot skipped away, has a pretty long look. Ooh, he gets it for his par.
Those are the good putts that you almost have to be getting his position with the lead. You can't be losing strokes on the putting green.
Taylor tap out his par.
Now we're heading into hole 3, 361 foot. Plays a lot better for a forehand than a backhand. It's on a little bit of a hillside. You're definitely going to want to be pushing something that's very straight and forward. You're going to have a little danger on the right and a little danger left, both with woods.
Yeah,
kind of
Charlie's going to try the mid backhand. You have to really make sure you turn it over if you're going to throw the shot. Looks like he does. Trying to sneak below the tree line. He catches it. You really have to either take it wide or slide underneath the tree line. It's kind of the only two options unless you're going to get lucky. Jake going back to the flex forehand. You're going to see a lot of that disc. He looks like he might be getting just wide enough, and he is, but he's a bit long.
Yeah, that is a tough mistake to make there. You'd almost rather hit short and skip up a little bit.
A lot of trouble there.
Yeah, when you're back in the woods over there, there is not a good look at the basket.
Taylor coming in a bit higher, more central. Catches the last tree, but he'll have a look there.
Kind of unfortunate where that lie ended up, behind a tree.
Yeah, right behind it. And then Andrew going to that backhand.
The backhand here is such a tough shot. He seems to be executing it pretty great.
That's a great angle there.
Yeah, he'll have a look at it as well. The backhand, though, is just such a tough shot because if you don't commit on this with such a slope, everything wants to get pulled kind of down to where Jake's forehand ended up. Great upshot from him there, where you're going to have nothing on that left side. But if you're able to commit, you will be rewarded with a birdie look.
Yeah.
And he's able to execute it. Great
jumper there.
Almost spit straight through.
Yep.
Full commitment, dead center hit on that. What a great putt.
Charlie with his bid leaves it a little bit nose down and short.
That just kind of didn't look fully committed. It looked like he was a little timid.
Ooh.
Oh, speaking of great catches, man, that was a little bit right side, but Taylor able to sneak it in there.
Yeah, Taylor is a big-time hyzer putter, so he's going to be able to get those, right side chain catches more than most.
Hole 4 out here is a very difficult par 4. You have an initial gap you have to hit, and then about 300 or so feet down the fairway, you have a secondary gap you need to hit to get out into the open if you want a chance at the birdie here.
Very tricky.
Nothing wrong with walking away with a par, though. This
Absolutely.
is a great hole to par.
Taylor going with the forehand. Gets a lot of turn on this, which is impressive considering the slope is kind of fighting that, and gets a good skip and throws a perfect drive.
Yeah, he actually said on the tee he was trying to go through that left gap. He wanted to put enough forehand ante to go kind of over the tee, the red hole 4 tee.
Never seen that.
I hadn't either. I was very impressed with that
Andrew
execution.
throws low and hard, and probably the best drive I've ever seen on this hole.
Yeah, that is
It just kept
way
pushing. It caught the gap and that is crushed.
He's gonna have probably about 300 to 350 foot approach shot there into this green.
This looks to be hyzering out a bit early, and yet catches the last tree in the gap. Still not an awful spot there. Jake electing for the forehand. Curious to see if he goes for that left gap or just tries to go up the middle. Looks like he's just trying to hit the middle gap a little bit high. Sometimes that can be good to get you over the last part of the tree line, and it looks like it does, but stalls out a bit early, and he's in trouble.
That's the danger you'll see with going forehand on this hole is the woods on the right side are very thick. That's why a lot of players, if they can, will go with the backhand and make the mistake just hyzering out left and making sure they have an opening.
This upshot is a bit tricky. The basket is really tight to the woods. We saw a decent effort there from Charlie. Taylor going with the forehand. This one looks to be pinched quite a bit, and gets a very fortunate kick.
Yeah, that could have been treacherous if he would have got pushed down to that river down there.
This upshot requires either a very perfect backhand, as we're seeing Charlie or Jake just pitch out there. Andrew going with the with that difficult aforementioned backhand.
That looked like such a great line. It just kind of got dropped.
Yeah, dropped out of the air by the wind a little bit there, but not bad. Just a bit short. The forehand is a bit easier just because it's a bit more predictable in the shot, but you do have to take it wide as Jake does here. Bit of a skip there, though.
And
he doesn't
an
really keep
unfortunate
it
roll.
close. Yeah.
Looked like a great line out of his hand.
It looked like kind of a layup there from
Yeah,
Charlie.
he just wasn't even. He didn't even want to mess with it.
Another little layup there. Here's that birdie bid.
Oh,
Ooh.
just pulled it right. He's going to have
Pulled it
another
right.
comeback there. He does not have a tap-in remaining. We're going to see some interesting putts here.
Jake trying to...
Wow,
Nice,
what a
big
great
save.
par save. From where he was at after his drive and then having to lay up a second shot, to be able to walk away with the par here, he's got to be feeling good. Loses no strokes to anyone on the card either. That was a big-time putt. And that was also a good hit from Andrew there. Those can get scary. Hole 5, we're stepping into a 335-foot par 3. Sounds easy. It's not. It's uphill, plays through a pretty tight gap that you have to hit about halfway down the fairway. And then it's behind those trees that you see dead center of the frame, way up there on the side of the hill.
Almost ungettable. A lot of players just trying to make it through the tree line. You see Taylor comes up, hitting the tree line, unfortunately, there.
If you're able to get kind of in that tree line or a little past it, you should have a pretty routine up and down from there.
Exactly. It's not a super difficult par, very tough birdie. And then Andrew there going with trying to play more aggressive, try to throw a hyzer flip, and the uphill kind of just fights it. It doesn't allow that disc to turn over. You almost have to throw something very hard and very flippy through like the top gap of the tree line, as Charlie is trying to do here, but also does not turn it over.
I've actually seen some players go with a massive ante over this left bush you see, and they're able to get up over that row of trees and then flex out into the open field up there. But that is a very demanding shot.
Yeah.
That's a very demanding shot.
It is a roller play, but it's difficult with the slope, and it kind of depends on the grass as well. With it being uphill, that's also tricky. Jake going with the flex forehand. He is able to push through the gap.
Yeah, barely caught that last brim there.
So all four players are going to have not a super difficult upshot. Still not completely easy with the low tree line near the basket.
Yeah.
You do have to kind of sneak underneath.
That's something that Charlie is very well known for in his upshots. He almost throws like a jump shot.
It's almost like an ultimate type, like little saucer with his putter there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very interesting. Just a very like wrist heavy shot.
Jake with the best look at the group here.
Going with the run. Not bad.
And that stays close as well.
Looks like we're going to have a bunch of pars here. Absolute laser putt there from Charlie. I mean, there is a lot of wind out there, so you don't want to give your putt any chance to have the wind tamper with it for sure. Yeah, this is kind of, I don't know if you have the whole average, but I'm sure this is close to averaging around par on the dot.
It's actually averaging 0.11 strokes over par for this round.
0.1 over.
Yeah,
okay.
so pretty much par.
Yeah,
I
figure. You're not going to see really any birdies.
It doesn't look like there was any birdies, and there was just a small amount of bogeys. But hole 6 out here, It's a good birdie to get, a little easier than the last hole, especially if you have a big forehand. You're going to want to push straight ahead and then crash through these trees, and it's way up there on the right side. The backhand can get you there, as we're seeing Andrew try it, but it's a big ask for a backhand.
It's very, very tricky, especially with the wind, not turning it all the way over if you decide to go.
He's going high.
It looks like he's turned it over a bit early and caught kind of one of the last trees there.
Push through. He's going to have a look.
Through. He will have a look.
A lot of times if you see discs hit those trees, they'll drop at about a 70 or 80 footer. That seemed to push up to closer to a 40 footer or so for him.
Another thing to know with these trees is a lot of times they won't even spit the disc out.
It's also true.
Charlie trying to go with the big turnover, pushes this one a bit wide, although it is coasting decently.
That is crushed.
It is going to fade out. I think he just let go of that early, and he'll have a pretty routine upshot from there, but didn't quite execute what he was planning there. Jake trying to throw the forehand. The forehand has to be low and smashed if you're really going to skip into the prime area for a look. This one appears to have a good move on it. The angle's not bad as long as he beats the last tree, which he does. That's actually crushed.
I think when you said low and smash, you meant for us.
Yeah.
When you have a forehand like
point.
Jake Clem, you can get it high in the air and still have the power to get it there.
That's a good point. He got a nice roll there too, so we'll have a look. Upshot there from Charlie, and then we have this jump bid from Andrew Lamont.
Did we see Taylor's drive? Oh, wow. Never mind. What a putt.
I don't believe we did.
That is a great birdie from Andrew.
Boom, another birdie there for Jake Clem.
Oh, ooh. Charlie.
I think the wind might have gotten to him there. Might have been dealing with the headwind.
And that's actually Taylor's putt for birdie.
Must have just missed it.
I don't know what his drive did, but I would imagine, knowing Taylor, it was a forehand. And that was a great drive. So it looks like on this card we end up with 3 2s and a 4, unfortunately. Going into hole 7, going to be a pretty big backhand hyzer is the normal play. You also are going to have a low, tight forehand line if you want to try it. I would imagine we don't really see anyone try it on this card. Maybe Jake. Yeah, Taylor, that looks a bit wide.
It is, but you do have to swing it a bit with the wind. That's actually a pretty good shot. If you think it's wide, it's actually usually a good shot on this hole. Anything too tight is going to hyzer out and skip very far left. At that point, you're just hoping to hit a tree. Andrew here looking like he's throwing a mid, which is
crazy.
Pretty crazy. You're going to have to get a little flip-up action on this, and this looks to be headed left a little bit early. He needs to push forward. He does sneak up to that last tree.
Wow, that's going to be like a 30-footer.
He'll have a low-ceiling bid. Getting around that tree, though, makes it a lot easier. So we are going to see Jake here go with the forehand.
He is going to go with the forehand.
Very tricky line. Looks like
turned over a little too much.
Turn that over a bit, yeah. It just needs to stay away from the creek at this point, which it does. And it's an uphill jump putt. Not the end of the world.
Easy up and down for 3.
Very difficult to hit that gap and then still get enough angle and skip to get up the hill to the basket. See Charlie here going with the more traditional line. This is headed left and high as well, but does catch that last tree like Lamont. So he'll also have that low ceiling outside bid. See Jake just laying up for his par there. Taylor with his bid just short off the cage. Tricky downhill putt. Very difficult with the roll-away threat. If Andrew with his bid. Looks like his ceiling is actually okay here. Very nicely done. Very nicely done. Charlie with a similar look. Also
there we go. That's a great recovery putt after the putt that he missed on the last hole.
Yeah, so a couple birdies there.
A couple birdies and a couple pars, it looks like.
The leaderboard is definitely starting to shake up very early in this final round. You'll see on the next slide here that it's tightening up very quick.
Yeah, we got a tie for the lead now between Jake and Andrew as we head into hole 8, 318 foot, basically just backhand hyzer. I would be shocked if we see any forehands here, but then again, Jake does not seem to like the backhand.
Jake, he told me, his strategy was to keep throwing forehands, and he was true to it. He knows what gets it done for him. Andrew going to that same pink mid, I believe, throwing. This may be a driver this time, but gets a little bit short there. But he does get a nice friendly roll to having a look.
Have a look.
A lot of times the play here is to throw a very overstable driver super hard and play for the skip, as Charlie does here. He gets a nice little roll up to a close look.
Perfect shot there.
Taylor going for the same line. This one's a bit higher.
If you get that much height, you really got to put a move on
Yeah.
it to get it to push far enough left into that little
He does
cove.
get it pinned high, but he'll have a bit more of a further look. Jake Clem going to the backhand here. Something you're not going to see a lot from him.
And it's really not bad. I don't know why he's not throwing it more often. I mean, that was a
Yeah.
little inside, but
A little inside, but he
look,
actually
he pushes all the way through.
He gets a phenomenal skip there and is all the way through. Taylor's bid just a bit short and left.
One thing you'll notice about Taylor is extremely fast player. He comes from an ultimate background and just off the cage.
Just short.
Is very used to just stepping up and throwing.
Yep.
So you might got great two from Jake there. You might be wondering why on earth we don't have more of his pre-shot routine. We have his
doesn't
full
have one.
pre-shot routine. in
Yeah.
there.
Charlie for his birdie.
Ah.
Just short.
Man, he is on a roller coaster on the putting green right now.
Yeah, those strokes are going to add up very quickly when everybody else is cashing in their putts.
Very weird to only see one birdie come on this hole from the lead group here. This is typically one that you're going to want to get, especially with it just being a backhand hyzer. But we see Jake take the lead back here, heading into hole 9. Speaking of a must-get birdie, this is one, if there's anyone on the course, it's this one. 217 feet downhill, just slight hyzer to the left. There is a creek short. That brings in a little danger, but nothing that should be too worrisome to this group. Forehand is an interesting choice, though.
Jake, once again, proving that the forehand is always an option. Trying to throw kind of a turning forehand. Looks like he's done a pretty good job here, though it has a lot of speed. Luckily, there's a lot of brush and hillside there to catch it, so he does have a good look there.
Andrew going with the more traditional play here, it looks like.
The backhand hyzer is pretty simple as long as you get over the creek, which he does here.
That was just a great looking shot. He looked very confident, very committed to that line. No surprise to see it kind of peered there.
Yeah, he was going Malta there and did a good job. Charlie sneaks through there. Another good shot.
Oh, that's parked. Great shot from Charlie.
Taylor, this one
getting a
little
high.
bit left and short, and I believe it kicks down.
Oh my word!
towards
Is
the
that
creek.
is that in the creek or is that safe?
I believe they were playing it as casual.
Oh, it was the creek casual in this
I
tournament.
believe so.
So I guess it doesn't really matter when it's all said.
Yeah.
done.
Couple missed birdie putts there. Taylor for his look, able to convert.
That is for a birdie. So either the creek, he wasn't in it, or it was casual.
I believe it was
either way.
casual.
Either way, that was a great birdie from Taylor there. Andrew to save his par. Nice. You really are going to be wanting to get this birdie out here. Hole 9 is the easiest hole in the course, averaging .43 strokes under par.
Yeah.
It's
not a lot
actually
of trouble.
tied with hole 20, which we won't see that for a while. But those two are tied as the easiest hole in this course. But you definitely are going to want to get it as we step into the final hole for this front 10, hole 10, 308 feet. Pretty much dead straight in a somewhat open field. There is danger with the woods on the right and woods on the left. And then there's like a sign in the middle that you're going to want to miss.
Charlie going overhand here.
Thumber is a not routine play, not normal play,
Doesn't
but
quite get the skip action he
outside
needed.
look on it.
Taylor going with the forehand, which is a pretty typical play here. There's a lot of room to operate when throwing the forehand, although this one
That's
is
a little high.
sawed off a bit. Gets a pretty favorable kick there, so he should be
He'll
able to
have
get
a
up and
long
down.
look.
Jake also...
He
gonna-
loves that one disc.
Yeah,
I have no idea what it is.
it-
I would guess a Firebird.
I would think a Firebird. That's what I would guess as well. Gonna throw that flex forehand with it a lot. This one's coming out.
Keeps it
a little
low.
bit low, right towards the red basket.
Oh my word!
Right into the red basket.
You know, that's really unfortunate because with the Firebird and how stable it is, that had a chance at being very close.
That
But
was probably going to be a good look, and unfortunately, the red basket is there to catch him, and he will be taking his next shot from underneath it.
man, I'm surprised that red basket caught it. He drilled that
Pretty
thing.
impressive, yeah. It was loud when it hit, and then Andrew going with the hyzer flip gets the flip, but it's a little tight to the woods. Friendly bump out there, but it's an outside jumper at best.
Surprising. We're gonna have no really good looks on hole 10 here. We're just averaging .25 strokes under par. This is one that, you know, being the lead card, this is a good chance for someone to make up some strokes on some of the leaders, but no one really seemed to capitalize on it on this card, unfortunately.
Yeah, last look here at birdie.
Oh!
Solid putt there.
That was a great putt.
Gave it the height, just didn't get down quick enough. Looks like we're gonna have 4 pars here on hole 10. Yeah, very surprising not to see any birdies there. Nobody really, I guess Jake really is the only one that executed his shot, and it just happened to be a basket.
It just happened to be a little too wide. So this is going to be the final scores after 10 holes. We see Jake holding on to his lead by 1 stroke. Taylor sneaking up into contention here. And it's definitely going to make for a very interesting back 10 holes. We will see you over there. You're not going to want to miss this finish.